In a shocking case of safety breach, the centre today strongly condemned a security breach during External Affairs Minister Jaishankar's visit to the United Kingdom, denouncing the actions of a small group of separatists and extremists. A demonstration was staged by pro-Khalistani protesters outside Chatham House in London, where Jaishankar had participated in a discussion. The protesters, carrying flags and loudspeakers, chanted slogans as the minister engaged in talks inside the venue. Despite the protests, Jaishankar continued his diplomatic engagements, meeting UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Foreign Secretary David Lammy and other senior leaders. In a meeting with the UK Home Secretary Yvette Cooper in London, Jaishankar discussed key issues, including the flow of talent and joint efforts to counter trafficking and extremism. This is not the first time Khalistani groups have demonstrated in London. In January, pro-Khalistani extremists had staged a protest outside the Indian High Commission there as well. A video circulating online shows a man running towards the External Affairs Minister's car and tearing the national flag. Another video showed Khalistani extremists protesting outside the venue while waving flags and also raising pro-Khalistani slogans. Well, the protesters were quickly restrained by police before they could come close to the minister. Ambassador Deepak Vora, former diplomat, is joining us now live on the broadcast. Ambassador Vora, what do you make of this experience that the External Affairs Minister had to face while in London on an official visit?
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be with you, sir, on your amazing channel, and you yourself, of course, are brilliant. London, Stan, is that what they call it now? They've gone wonky, they've gone crazy. These fellows have been messing around with jihad for a long time, with Islamic extremism. They are paying the price. Now they're playing around with Khalistani terrorism. The bottom line, sir, the English prided themselves on being the world's biggest empire builders. We are the world's biggest, we Indians are the world's biggest empire busters. They haven't forgotten this. I've talked to so many of these jokers in England. I meet them all over the place. Oh, my grandfather was in Rajputana Rifles. He was in this Indian unit, that unit. You know, this is called atavism. You live in the past. So by rearing snakes in their front yard, not the backyard, by rearing snakes in the front yard, they think that they can exercise some influence on Bharat. I will end this by saying you've seen what has happened recently at the condolence summit that this joker Star Wars, or whatever his name is, the Prime Minister, he had organized. He invited a few European countries, even though he's not a member of the European Union, some European and NATO countries that now that America has pulled out of Ukraine and said we're not going to do anything, now we'll take over the responsibility. And the guest of honor, the chap called, you heard his name, Volodymyr Zelensky because he keeps begging. And this guy says, well, thank you very much, guys, but you have no strength left. Without the United States, I'm not interested in what you can do. That's precisely the logic today that we have. Look, you stay out of all this nonsense. As far as we are concerned, as far as the issue of Kashmir is concerned, because that was also raised, sir, there was not a single Indian army soldier regular soldier. There were a few chaps who were helping the Maharaja before October 1947. We were invited. The Maharaja said, help me save my state. The Pakistanis invaded. Nobody invited them. So what Dr. Jaishankar is saying is the gospel truth. All these UN resolutions are meaningless. Perhaps we were not able to explain our position as we should have. And therefore, what I'm seeing now happening is we are telling the world, illegal occupation, Pakistan. It's my territory. I want it back. What did the British do with the Falklands? You remember, sir, that case? You're too young. I'm 74. They dispatched a naval flotilla to go beat up the Argentines who had occupied it. The Argentinians called it the Malvinas. Why? The Argentinians said, this is mine. And the British said, no, we took it 50 million years ago, or whatever the figure they gave. They sent in their thing. So we haven't done it yet. Because when an action of this kind has to be taken, sir, I have seen this in many countries where I've served. First is a political decision, then comes the diplomatic outreach, and finally the military action. We have taken the political decision. External Affairs Minister has said this, Home Minister has said this, the Army Chief has said this. The Constitution now says that it's an integral part of India. Diplomatic outreach is amazing. Nobody raises the Kashmir issue anymore, except that senile old character in Malaysia is 105 years old, and that chap sitting in Turkey. Apart from these two, nobody raises it. Even the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, they tell us bilaterally, Pakistan ke liye hum karte the, ab wo bhi khatam ho gaya. So we have had very successful diplomatic outreach. The only thing remaining is military action. Perhaps better than that would be the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir asking us, please, India, take us back.
Let me, in fact, quickly take that across to Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar, former diplomat as well, who's live with us on the broadcast. Ambassador Sajjanar, This is very, very shocking. The fact that these, protesters could get so close to the External Affairs Minister's car. What do you make of it? Also, at the end of the day, of course, now perhaps this is a wake-up call for the United Kingdom. Seeing these individuals' action, which is far from peaceful, they need to realize the threat that these Khalistanis pose to domestic security in the UK as well.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, Uday. This is, you said this is a wake-up call. This is not the first wake-up call. I think it's umpteen number of times that similar wake-up calls have been given. And they should learn from past experience. We've seen how they have defaced, what is the violence that they have committed, how, one of these Khalistani goons was able to come last year, climb up on the flagpole and take off the Indian tricolor from there. And, we are quite familiar with what they have been trying to do in London and in other places. So they should have taken action. They should have taken preemptive action against these people. Meaning, this is such a stark failure of both intelligence as well as their action, that they have allowed this demonstrator to come so close to the External Affairs Minister's car and then sort of, tear the flag. And then I also saw in that video when this protester goes away, this Bobby, the London policeman, the cop, he is patting him on his arm as if, in some sort of a reassurance or something. I think this is appalling. This is deplorable. And it really needs to be taken up very, very strongly. Of course, the External Affairs Minister has mentioned he's had a meeting with the with the Home Secretary in the United Kingdom, also with David Lammy, the Foreign Affairs External Secretary, the Foreign Minister there. And they've discussed about, all the other things, how to strengthen relations in terms of mobility of talent from India there, dealing with extremism, terrorism, and, money laundering and trafficking, etc. But I think these specific cases, we should really hold the United Kingdom responsible for taking action and coming back to us with, what is the sort of action and what have they been able to apprehend? Have they done something? Some penalty, some action? Because it seems to be getting repeated one after the other after the other. There doesn't seem to be. And they are allowing them, that this is, in terms of what Canada had mentioned, this is freedom of speech. We cannot sort of, take action. But if you have seen that these people have been doing this over and over again, you have to give a perimeter security to the VVIPs who are coming, that these people are not able to, break any cordon or break that security limits and come so close. Meaning this is a severe bodily threat as far as the External Affairs Minister was concerned. So I think the matter needs to be taken up very, very seriously by the Indian government. And particularly since the External Affairs Minister is there, I think it needs to be and he will still have some more meetings. He's there up to the 9th, so he will have some more meetings. So I think this really needs to be brought up front as far as the British government is concerned. Uday.